What is going on, everybody? Jesse Delgado, and I wanted to bring you some sales advice. That's right, some sales advice. First of all, when we think about a salesman, usually we think about some scumbag or somebody who's out there hustling with, tactics that are trying to rip you off and et cetera, et cetera. And let me just tell you, that's the wrong way to view it. Now, it comes from actually a pain point. Most of us have encountered scumbag salespeople. So it's coming from a real place. I'm not saying that there's not scumbag salespeople, because there are, but I'm saying that it's got a bad rap. And that's why a lot of people are not good at it, because they don't want to do that. If somebody says, let me teach you some sales advice, they're like, nah, I'm cool, man. I don't want to learn any sales advice. I don't want to be that guy. There's a good part of selling that you need to understand for your business and for your brand. Okay. I was in sales for over 15 years, and I seen some shisty and scumbaggy salespeople. And I was tempted many a times to do those same type of tactics that by people that were trying to teach me and educate me in sales. And sometimes, I'm not saying that I always made the best decision. Sometimes I did blur the lines or maybe not give the full information. But I quickly seen that it wasn't sustainable. It's not something that helped me grow as a person. It's not something that really even helped me grow in my business ethic. Because once you start doing those types of sales tactics, you quickly hold that reputation as being that guy. And you don't want to be that guy or girl. Okay, so let me help reshape how you view selling. Okay, the reality of it is we're all salespeople. We're all selling something. We're all selling a certain persona, a certain belief. We want people to buy into what it is that we believe. We want people to buy into what it is that we say. Right? Even with our spouse, we're trying to sell things. Right? It may not be a product or a service, but we're trying to sell trust, and we're trying to sell belief, and we're trying to sell buy-in, and we're trying to sell acceptance, right? When we enter a new social setting and we don't want to be that guy or girl to stand out or be awkward or be weird. So we put on this kind of sales hat. Okay. Now, when I'm talking about selling, I'm not talking about a product or service. I'm talking about getting buy-in. And simply put, that's just basically agreement, okay? So I've noticed that there's a lot of wonderful, creative people out there in this world, but they're really horrible when it comes down to selling. One, because they think they're being scumbaggy, and two, a lot of them just don't know how to represent themselves or what it is that they offer. For example, how many times have you been in a situation where somebody asked, how much is that going to cost? And you thought to yourself, your heart dropped, and you thought to yourself, oh my gosh, what should I say, right? How much should I price this? I don't want to go too much and look like I'm trying to be too greedy. I don't want to go too low and not get enough to be able to provide for my work. What should I say? And your heart starts racing, and it's this moment, and you start asking other questions to buy yourself some time because you don't know what to say, okay? I'm going to show you a way that you can solve that, okay? First things first, you need to ask yourself, what is the value of what it is that you have to offer? Now, this is a tricky question because it takes some self-awareness. You have to know what the value, first of all, of what it is that you offer. You have to be able to look at yourself with honesty and integrity and basically judge yourself in the sense of what you do and how much it's worth. Because this is where your pricing is going to come from. It's going to come from the value of what it is you actually do. Now, a lot of us are like, yeah, I make $1 million films. But the reality of it is, no, you don't. And nobody's going to pay that because it's just simply put, you don't make $1 million films. All right. So you need to be honest with yourself and ask you and assess yourself, what is the value of what you're doing? And you can do that by just taking a look at the marketplace and doing a quick assessment on what the market looks like. What are people paying for these types of services? And where do you fare in terms of quality? Which brings me to my next point, quality. Let me give you some advice that's really helped me, okay? Your value is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask. Now, what does that mean? That means the deeper you go in the questions that you ask, the more you can uncover, the greater your value goes up. For example, if somebody says, hey, listen, I want a wedding video. And I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, well, how much is it going to cost? I don't know, $1,000. Okay, great. I like it. I don't like it, right? At that point, you've given no value at all because you've asked no quality questions. You haven't understood what kind of situation they're in, what it is they're looking for, what it is that they're worried about, what it is that they want. Maybe they've seen something else. And so what that conversation would look like look like, great, let me find out some more information about your wedding. When is it? Have you talked to other people? What are some things you liked? Why did you like that? What are some things you didn't like? What kind of wedding films have you seen that you really would like to have for yourself? Once you start to go deeper in your questioning and navigate away from your price, the more your price actually goes up, because the greater you're able to understand what their situation is and how you best can provide value. For example, maybe somebody says, you know what, through the line of questioning, somebody says, you know, I want to do this wedding film, but you know what, our family's going out of town 2 weeks after the wedding, and we would love for them to be able to see the wedding film before they leave and have us all watch it together. Now, this is a situation where all their family's in one place, maybe from different parts. It's extremely hard for them all to get together. They want to experience this film together, so the value now goes up. What you're able to provide, the solution that you're able to provide now goes up. Why? Because of the quality of the questions that you asked. And so when you think about selling, think about it as listening. Okay. In sales, there's something called second level listening. And what this is that there's a need, right? But there's a need that's behind the need. Okay. So for example, I need a wedding film. That's a need, but there's a need behind that need. I need a wedding film because I'm fearful that I might not capture the moment. Or I need a wedding film because I want footage of my family who's all in town. See, there's needs that are behind those needs. And the more effectively you can uncover those needs, the better you are at crafting a solution and the more your value goes up in the services that you provide. So when you think about selling, think about listening and asking questions, because at the end of the day, what makes somebody a good salesperson is not how good they can talk or how flashy or clever they are or how much they can pressure you into doing something. What makes a good salesperson is a person who can connect a person's need or pain with a solution. So the next time you're in a position to sell, think about it that way. What questions can I ask? What problems can I solve? And do I even understand the problems that this person is having? Do I understand the needs that are behind the needs? The better you can understand those needs, the more able and equipped you're going to be to solve them. And the more your value will go up.